Hello, students. And so this week is going to be on Shiny dashboards. And so we're going to do this week a little bit different than we've done in other weeks. We're going to do it for a live coding session. So I wanted to kind of give you some prep material for the live session. So again, looking at the weekly objectives, we have to create a financial forecasting model for retirement. It should have inputs about the financial state as well as some sliders for future retirement goals, some descriptive statistics, graphs in order to help the user understand it. So for the live coding session, you're going to have two opportunities, one of which is 8 p.m. tonight. Eastern Time. The other one is going to be on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's our standard login for the Collaborate session. You're just going to join that. Now, in preparation for that, I want you to have R Studio up and running, and also kind of have your initial framework fleshed out. So I'm going to show you those steps here real quick. So let me pull up R Studio real quick. And while we are here in our studio, let me just show you one other little pro tip here, which I thought maybe I should pass on. One of the things we've got within R is you've got the ability to create these little snippets. So in other words, let's say if you do like live, for instance, you're going to see how it has snippet there as that first option. And then the base, you can see right here, there's the base one that provides it. But if you're doing this, you see it's automatically going to do the initial call for you, and then you could put in there like tidyverse, for instance. So it's little snippets that'll help you like build out new applications. The way which you get to that, if you wanted to add more or modify yours, under the tools and underneath the global options right here, and then you go down to the code, and then you'll see at the bottom edit snippets. Now, you have to make sure that this checkbox is checked. That's going to allow you to use the snippets. R comes preloaded with a whole bunch of these, and so here you can see all these different snippets which are out there, such as if you were going to use the apply functions, they've already got that built out. Now you'll notice here, one of these is this Shiny app. So one of the ways that you can do building a Shiny app is to start it off as just saying Shiny app, and it's going to provide all of this information. Now I like to also kind of go in here and customize these as well for myself. You can also see there's different languages here. So there's Markdown, JavaScript, HTML. If you have things like this, you've got some that are already kind of built in there too as well as YAML, for instance, that you can use. So snippets are quite useful. I wanted to show you that. If you do make a modification inside here, you just go ahead and hit save, and then it's back out. But so the two different ways and then you have to do apply here in order to apply those changes. So the two different ways that you can do this, one of which is if you do like Shiny app, you can see it automatically creates a Shiny app for you. That's the template for a Shiny app. Now Shiny is going to have, in addition to the library call, it's going to have these two sections. One is for the user interface and one is for the server component. Typically for smaller projects, you just have these all encased in one file. You can also have this in separate files for larger projects. For the purposes of our work, I'd say let's just keep it into the single file, but I'm not going to deduct if you happen to put it into two separate files. Just make sure you submit both of the two files. And then finally, the call to Shiny app, passing the two parameters, the user interface and the server. Those two components get passed to this function. That's the format of a basic Shiny application. Another way which you can do this is by going here, you go New File, and then you can go to Shiny, which is right there, Shiny Web App. Now, when you do it this way, here again, like I said, you can have it to where it has separate files, one for the user interface and one for the server. You can have it for the single file, either of those two options. By default, it's going to drop off inside your working directory that you're in. I'm going to have it redirect to this temporary directory, just simply browsing, and then put it out to a sample directory. And you have to give it a name. So in this one here, if I said temp application, for instance, that would be a way of it doing a name. Now, when you do create this way, it actually creates a basic Shiny app, and it adds a little bit more information into it here. Again, just kind of going down through some of the pieces of this here. Here's the library call where it actually sets it up. Here's the user interface. Here's the server functions, those two functions, and as mentioned before, here's the actual what does the run on the application. It's going to just, within a fluid page, it's going to create a title panel called Old Faithful. It's going to populate a sidebar layout, and it's going to populate a main panel. Um, Down here in the actual server, you're going to see this is where it's actually building the plot, and it's just doing a simple histogram off of the Old Faithful data set in order to render this plot. So this is again, when you do a brand new application, it sets you up with this template. Um, if you run that application, you can get a little quick peek here at what it looks like. And as you can see, as you adjust the bin right here, you can see it adjust the graph that's on the right-hand side. So again, what you can do is kind of look down through this. You can see how a basic user interface is built. You can see how a basic output is built here. Again, this is reactive, so anytime you change something on the slider, it's automatically going to redo the plot too as well. Now, the application that we're going to be building is really based off of this retirement simulation that was provided as an example here. Pierre Christian had initially built this out. It might still be out there, be on RStudio, but was one of the Shiny examples that's out here. For this week, again, you're not going to master Shiny in one session. Shiny is probably something we could teach entire classes on. So it's to familiarize yourself with Shiny and to actually build out a single application as part of that. So that's where I think that the live coding version of this will probably be more effective. If you choose to build your own, again, what you might do is you might want to start with that retirement simulation, and you might want to, use that as kind of a base. Just remember, anytime you use something that somebody else has generated, make sure you cite. And so in this case, I'm giving you the example of where this comes from. Now we'll go into a little bit of detail during the live coding session to those individual pieces, but as you can see, there's a user interface section. There's also a server section that's included into this as well. So there's the server pieces up at the top here. Boom. So this is what we're going to build out this evening in our live coding session. When we run the application, you'll actually get to take a look at this. This is what the application looks like. So we've got some slider bars on the left-hand side with some basic information. We've also got a density plot down here, as well as some projected portfolio amounts over time over here. And anytime, this is all reactive, so anytime you make adjustments here, you can see it makes corresponding adjustments over here in the plots. Now we're not going to get deep into the actual methodology that's used for these individual things. This is again just to try to demonstrate creating a basic Shiny app and deploying a basic Shiny app. Now, one additional option that's available to you. We've just come off the week talking about Markdown documents. So Flex dashboards are also able, you could actually submit this as a Flex dashboard if you'd like. So if you're interested in Flex dashboards, here is the link for Flex dashboards. So it's packages.rstudio.com, and under that Flex dashboard, you will have to install the Flex dashboard package, as you can see right here. And then once you do, inside of the new document, you'll be able to see from template Flex dashboard. So let me go ahead and show you that. If I do here, I do new file, I do R Markdown, it gives you the option right here. Now this also can get you to, if you wanted to create a Shiny document, but if you say here from template, and then you'll see there's a whole bunch of options here. So there's the Flex dashboard, and here is the Flex dashboard themed with the BS Lib theme that goes along with it. Either of these two will get you a Flex dashboard. So then when you hit start, it will give you something similar to this. So as we've seen here, you've seen this from the Markdown document. So you may also go and build this instead if you'd like to do this in a Flex dashboard. That also meets the requirement for this particular week. When I go ahead and knit this here, it knits to a Flex dashboard. This is the themed version of it, and you can see here we've got a couple of tabs, we've got a couple of charts. So this is also an option for you if you'd rather develop this using Markdown and using the Flex dashboard, equally valid for the submission. So that's what's going to happen in the live coding session. What I'd like you to do is at least start it to this point right here. So if you've got your snippets turned on, if you just do new snippet, you say shiny, it'll give you the same results as what you see here. Alternatively, you could go ahead and do file, new file, shiny web app, walk through that. Now, when we actually start building this out, we will remove basically these big pieces that are inside of here, and we're going to redo that. So these are the pieces that we would strip out and we would redo. Oh, one final thing I wanted to say about this, just kind of syntax-wise. If you notice, let me show you here in this one right here. So if you notice down here in the user interface, for example, here we have all those sliders are being built. Each slider is going to have its, like here's an individual slider right here. Each slider is going to have a comma after its particular call. So these are just chained together. There's going to be a comma after it. The most common problem that students have with building out these individual groups of sliders is they'll forget the comma, and then when you run it, you're going to get an error on the build, or you may see sliders missing as part of the build. So it's very important, just kind of from a syntax perspective, you have to have these commas after each of these sections. Otherwise, the application itself will not run. So that's what we got on tap for the live coding session this evening. Please, if you're able to, please join. Please join. Following the completion of that, those who attend the live session will get credit for the assignment. Those who are not able to attend it or choose not to attend it, just submit your submissions as normal, and then we'll go through the grading. So that's what's for this evening, and on Thursday, if you've got any questions, please reach out. Thank you.